one reason and one kind of programming why relationships don't work as well as they did in the past. And I never said it was easy, but I can see now, I wasn't completely aware of that years ago, but all these quotes that constantly tell you, and I had to just pick this horrible person, the drag queen, because don't be a drag, be a queen. You will always be a drag queen. So, but look at all of these quotes like, always choose yourself first, make yourself a priority. So, all these self loving quotes, quotes of the cult of self worship, believing that you are God's gift. The worship of self is so toxic and dangerous. Here you can literally look at the 666. I mean, this is connected to the New World, the agenda, and they literally force you to be obsessed with yourself. And I don't say I'm the right person to I mean, I have fallen for that as well somehow, but it's a bit more difficult for me because I was traveling so much the last years. I live a quite unusual lifestyle. For me, it's a bit more difficult to find someone I connect with 100% because I'm quite an unusual person, and I don't think people believe that when they look at me, but I'm not like a normal person. In my opinion, you have to look a little bit at the Christian beliefs if you really want relationships to work as they did in the past. It's simply not, people just don't relate to others anymore because they are completely obsessed with themselves and their own well-being, and this doesn't work if you don't focus on the other person and on their well-being. It cannot work for a proper relationship. If you give up after the first 2 or 3 arguments, or because there are challenges, of course it can't work. You can't be with someone who isn't ready to also put the other person first. You cannot just put yourself first. It doesn't work. I'm telling you, the best relationships are where both people put the other person first and are completely unselfish. That's usually how true love works. If there's one narcissistic person, one person who's obsessed with themselves, and the other is giving everything, that's what happens a lot these days. Of course, it will be a disaster. If 2 people are obsessed with themselves, there can never be any kind of relationships. But the biggest problem is that now, usually very loving and sweet people, they somehow end up with those who have fallen for this self worship cult, because that's what it actually is. Furthermore, they give up all their energy and time, and it's right what they do. It's not wrong. And then also society tells them, oh, you're too good, just don't do that. But that's how you should do it. The other person is at fault. Then I don't like the term pick me girl, because I feel a woman should actually be very sweet and loving and good to her man, and should do everything for him. That's my opinion. I believe personally a woman should do everything for her man, everything. And she should not tell him, she should try to make him as happy as possible. Of course, then he also should do the same, or it will be an unbalanced relationship. He should also try to make her as happy as possible. 2 people like that, they have to have very little ego. And usually Christians were like that in the past. I also think today it's very dangerous to be a Christian and to hold the other cheek. And it doesn't work in today's society. I mean, before, like 100 years ago, it might still have worked, but now things have drastically become worse and you need to have some sort of ego, but you should still be able to give it up with your partner and not don't fall for these quotes, please. Guys, girls, I'm telling you, these quotes, they have been put out for a reason, to make you selfish, to make you feel like everybody else is out to get you. And there are many awful people because they have been programmed poorly. Just don't become like that. If you become the same, there's literally no hope for you. You have to find someone who doesn't believe in that, the self-worship, and find someone sweet and be the same. Don't become the part who uses or vampirizes of the energy of the loving person, the pick me girl. Because a good woman should actually be a pick me girl with the right man. Yeah, but the man should also be a pick me man or a pick me boy. And yes, of course, both have to do things for each other. A real man, I think he enjoys to make a woman happy and also to buy her things and do things. The thing is now, everybody just expects to receive. They want to have, and they are not ready to play their part and, do the same in return. It's dangerous if everybody thinks they are the prize. This is just crazy. It's one reason why, yeah, just relationship cannot work. I know also men and women have been programmed to be shallow, but also to have too high expectations. And something is also wrong with male hormones. I've been told stories by girlfriends, and they always say the same, men just lose interest very quickly. It's not even that you have to be physically involved with a guy. There's just, they have a very short attention span. I just remember a story where a woman, it just happened a couple of weeks ago, and I was by the pool, and there was this woman, a fitness type model girl. I mean, she was not my type, but she was attractive, very, very fit woman. And she was there with her boyfriend. He was taking pictures of her. And she just felt that he looked at me or he stared at me for too long. And she freaked out. And, I had these moments too when I felt my boyfriend, he just looked too long at some other woman. And it's so hurtful. Men just don't understand how hurtful that is for a woman. But I usually notice when men look at me, and this guy wasn't. He was very stressed to give her all the attention, and maybe he just glanced over for a minute, I don't know, for a few seconds. But usually I notice if men, they just they can't stop looking at you. But this guy just, he didn't stare at me at all. He just a natural, normal look. His tongue wasn't falling out or something. And she just freaked out and left, was almost crying. And, it destroyed their whole day. And I just felt sad. I mean, he really didn't mean to hurt her. He was focused on her. I could feel he was seriously in love with her. But this society is it's difficult to deal with it. And we all have sometimes false perceptions. We don't see things clearly. And yeah, I felt sad. I actually wanted to go to her and tell her, look, I noticed if a guy looks at me, your boyfriend was focused on you. But she wasn't there anymore, and she went to the car. And also I don't know what I should have told her. It just also felt strange. I don't know if it would have been appropriate to get involved in their business. So, what I'm trying to say here, please, guys, be aware there's a constant programming going on. And quotes are one of the most effective way to program you. They're like hypnotic messages. They repeat over and over again. By having you look at them in your vulnerable moments on Twitter, on, I don't know, even on YouTube, you see some of these quotes. Facebook, I don't have Facebook, but so be aware of that and be careful which quotes you believe. Best is to avoid all of them. I just don't look at any of them. Most of them are made up anyway, then they connect them to some sort of Tesla or Einstein. Like, who knows if they really said those things? It's just ridiculous. Don't believe it and don't get programmed. And be a pick-me girl, be a pick-me boy. But still, find somebody who's also pick-me boy, pick-me girl. Just be like that and find somebody who is just like that. And be loving, be kind, and have a lovely day. Take care. Big kiss.
Careless eyes to let you back in, but